you don't have to work and work your butt off until the wheels fall off and hopefully hope that you have enough health to be able to enjoy retirement at age 60, 65. We want you to enjoy that now. And we just believe this. If we can increase your passive income, if we can increase your cash flow and your income, we can then increase your independence, which is your time freedom. And if we can increase your time freedom, we can increase your impact so you can go out into the world and do the things that has been put on your heart to do. Hey, y'all, what's going on? Perry Jeffries here with Cash Flow Unlocked. Excited to have you here with us. With this particular episode, if you're listening this to the podcast, I highly recommend that you also head over to YouTube to watch this video because we are going to be adding some visual sources in here just so you can follow, but you'll still get a lot out of it by listening to the call. You'll get the concept and the framework, but I know we all learn differently. So I want to make sure that you head over to the YouTube channel so that you can actually watch this live, or better yet, come inside our free Facebook community, Cash Flow Unlocked, where you can watch the recording, get the content, and also to be able to ask some questions in real time. So if you're not part of our online community, head over to facebook.com/groups/Cash Flow Unlocked. All right, with that being said, we are jumping into this quick workshop today where we're going to discuss profit first, in addition to how we use profit first to create passive income. So it's going to be a lot of moving parts, which is reason we've opted to do a video along with this one. So let's first talk about profit first and what it is and what it is not. Profit first is a bank balance accounting strategy. It is not for tax accounting. So I've been a part of Profit First, probably going on 5 or 7 years now. I've been a mastery level Profit First professional. So not only do I use Profit First, but I've gone through all the training and have worked directly with the authors and founders of Profit First Professional. So the author of the book, Mike Michalowicz, if you haven't read Profit First, I highly suggest that you get it, especially if you're an entrepreneur. It will be a game changer for you. So I worked directly with Mike Michalowicz, the author of the book, and also to a good friend of mine, Ron Shaharian, who is actually the president of Profit First Professionals. So we've been using this for some time now. And the first time I saw Profit First, I knew it was something special. I knew it was what I was missing with respects to my business. I knew it was what I knew it was that piece that would help my clients. So what Profit First, let's first talk about what Profit First fixes. I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine, one of our contractors today, and I said, what Profit First, this bank balance accounting method helps fix is what we call the 5 deadly sins of business, right? I've been doing this a long time, met and probably over 1,000 now businesses where I've seen their books and their P&Ls and things of that nature. And this is what I know with absolute certainty. Most businesses suffer from either one or all 5 of these issues. And those issues are: one, they have a tax issue. They owe taxes, they're afraid of taxes, they ain't filed no taxes, it's some type of tax issue in there, right? The end of the year comes around and their account says, hey, congratulations, you were profitable. And you're like, yay. And they're like, by the way, you owe taxes on that profit. And you're like, I don't have that. So they got some type of tax saving issue, right? Number one. Number two issue: business owners are not paying themselves. At some point in time, a lot of us adapted this. Hey, I'm not going to take any income from the business. I'm just going to reinvest it into the business. That's total bullshit. Here's the deal. You are the most important employee of the business. If you're not making any income from your business in order to be able to save, invest, and or pay your bills, then you're doing business wrong. The business is there to provide you, the owner, with financial benefit and gain. So let's just make sure we clear the air on that. So that's the number 2 deal. Business owners weren't paying themselves. The number 3 thing, right? They were commingling funds, using business to cover personal funds and personal funds to cover business funds, right? This is a no-no. This sets you up and actually puts you in harm's way from a risk standpoint. There's a concept called piercing the corporate veil. This is where if you're using your business account to do personal things if ever you get sued or audited, and they can trace back to where you were using the business funds for personal use. You've now opened up yourself for litigation. And if somebody sued the business, they could come after your personal assets as well. So you need to be separating the business cash flow from the personal cash flow. Okay. And again, I could spend a whole week breaking this down. I'm just going to give you guys high level. All right. So the next thing we have in there, so we got co-mingling funds. The next piece we have in there is debt. How do you systematically minimize or mitigate or completely eliminate debt? You can't just throw it on the wall and hope that it sticks, right? You have to have a strategy to get out of debt. And most business owners and most individuals have debt. So whether it's personal debt, whether it's business debt, but they have the pain of that debt, the stress of that debt weighing them down, right? And then you have number 5. Most entrepreneurs do not know what button to push or lever to pull to increase the profitability of their business, right? And one of the reasons is you're seeing all the money coming into one account, and now you're paying all the expenses out that one account, and you have no idea how much you should have paid yourself, how much you should have set aside for taxes, how much you should have saved, and all of and how much you have available to run the business, because there's no way to physically see it. So what ends up happening is you're depending on sorry bookkeepers, and no offense to my bookkeepers out there. There's some dope, really good bookkeepers, but the majority of them are not good. So you're kind of waiting on bookkeepers to get you a report in March about what your cash flow did in January, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you can relate to that. Oh yeah, I don't get my books until 2, 3 months later after the month, which is absolutely crazy. How in the world are you supposed to make financial decisions if you're getting reporting 2, 3 months after the event happened? So what Profit First does, it allows you, the entrepreneur, to see your business in terms you understand. You may not understand your P&L and L and your balance sheet and your cash flow projections and things of that nature. And you might not understand all those terms like amortization and depreciation. But what I guarantee you understand is this: you can look in your bank account, log on to your phone right now, and know what your balances are. That's why Profit First is so powerful, because when you start to see your business zoomed out and know what balances you have available for what, you're now able to make what we call data driven decisions, right? So I had to kind of share that with you just to make sure that we can level set. So the reason I decided to do this training, it's the end of Q1 of 2024, which I've already called my Mamba year, right? Mamba mentality year. So we've in the quarter. And what happens when you're running the Profit First strategy, the Profit First bank balance accounting method, right? We do what's called quarterly distributions. So let me attempt here to share this with you. We're going to just pray and hope that, this works out on the technology side. I think we got it. I'm looking good so far. Hold on here 1 second for me. All right, so I'm going to show you something here. So this is how Profit First works in its most simplest form. There's a lot more levels to it, but we don't have time for that on this particular call. So what happens is with Profit First, you have an account that receives all your income. So whether you're being paid off of Stripe, whether you're being paid off of PayPal, it all ends up dumping into the same business account. And we're going to call that account the income account. Then from the income account, you're going to have at least 4 other accounts. And we call this our foundational accounts. You're going to have an account called profit. You're going to have an account called taxes. You're going to have an account called owner's comp. We're just going to call that OC. And we're going to have an account called OpEx. So money comes into the account, into your income account, and then typically on the 10th and 25th of the month, you then, based on the predetermined percentages, put a percentage of that income into each one. So for just easy math today, we're going to say that 50% is going to your OpEx. Matter of fact, we're going to say 30% is going towards your OpEx. We're going to say 50% is going towards your owner's comp. That's 80. We're going to say 15% is going to your taxes. That takes us up to 95. And we're going to say 5% is going to your profit. So money comes in, right, into your income account. And then on the 10th and 25th of the month, what you're doing is then transferring that percent of that income into those accounts, which means every month, at least twice a month, you have money, change the colors of this, you have money going into these 4 accounts. So I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up, and then we're gonna get to how we're very quickly get to how we use this to create the opportunity to become your own bank, and also to how to go out here and create wealth. So now money comes into your income account. 30% went to your OpEx. For easy math, I'm gonna just use $10,000. So this means that $3,000 went into your OpEx. This means that $5,000 went into your owner's compensation. This means that what $1,500 went into your taxes, right? Is that good math? And 500 into the tax. Let's see if that actually maths up real quick. Let me pull my calculator out here. It's been a long day. 10,000 times my 5%. Yeah, 500. Okay, cool. I'm not losing my mind today. Times 15%, 1,500. Good. Okay, cool. So that all adds up to, right, to $10,000. So what you know now is this: you have $3,000 to run your business. You should pay yourself $5,000. You have $1,500 set aside for taxes, and you have $500 in your profit account. Okay, cool. So we're just going to stop there, make sure we level set, and make sure we can understand that whole piece. Okay. Now, something special really happens at the end of the quarter, because you're doing this monthly, right? So let's say we did this for January, February, and March. It is now the end of the quarter. Okay. Now you've been putting money into this profit account. And I hear people asking me all the time, well, Perry, what do I do with that money in the profit account? Let me show you guys. It's absolutely amazing. So money goes into that profit account, and let's say that it was $10,000 every month. Just use that just as an easy example here. So we now have $1,500 in the profit account. So let me make this green again. We now have $1,500 in the profit account. Well, per the profit first methodology, you take 50% of that and you pay it to yourself as a bonus. In this case, right, $1,500 dollars, you paid yourself a $750 bonus. And they say, well, Perry, what do you do with that distribution? Whatever the heck you want to do with that. You can go buy some shoes, go buy a steak dinner, you right, pay a credit card, whatever you want to do with that. You can do it absolutely whatever you want to do with that. That is your owner's distribution. Okay. I'm going to change the color of that just so that stands out. Owner's distribution. But you still got another 50%, right? So you got another $750. So what do you do with that? This goes into what we call a profit hold account, right? So now this is where the magic is going to happen. So hopefully y'all are following my chicken scratch right now. And if you're listening to the podcast, you're following along. So you have $1,500 inside your profit account. The end of the quarter came around, you did a 50% distribution to yourself. So that's a bonus for you. Do whatever you want to with that money, right? Because now we're celebrating the fact that you are profit from a cash standpoint, not from a tax standpoint, right? This is an additional income for you as the owner, right? This other 50% is for you to start building up the reserves of your business. So we got 750 that went into that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this now. Clear all drawings, right? And now let's go back to this money that we have in what we call this profit hold account. Now, with this profit hold account, you're supposed to now transfer this extra cash. And we said that this is, roughly $750 for this example, and transfer that extra cash to an account that's earning interest. So to a higher savings account outside of your primary bank. So it's out of sight, out of mind, and that money can grow. Okay. Now, I do not have a problem with that at all. Actually, most people probably need to do that. But for those boss people, those people who want to retire early, those people who want to get, acquire passive income, people who want to create generational wealth, sometimes you have to think past the plain vanilla, right? So you could transfer this $750 to, the online bank account and earn you a whopping 3-4% interest. Unfortunately, a lot of people leave this in their checking account earning, 0.01% interest. But that's not what we do here. We're now going to combine profit first with our wealth accelerator method. So, what we're going to do with this $750, instead of moving it to a checking account or a savings account, we are going to move this money to a cash value life insurance. Okay. Now, before people start throwing fits, because I've seen all of the posts on social media, especially the folks who follow Dave Ramsey, like, oh my gosh, don't use cash value. It's a beat up. You only make 1 to 3% a year and yada, yada, yada. We go there. We're not moving it to the cash value life insurance because we're trying to get a great rate of return. So that's the kind of the crazy thing about that argument when I see people talking about it, especially other financial professionals who they should know better, but maybe just haven't been exposed to it, because I was once that financial professional that believed in buy term insurance and invest the rest, right? But here's the deal. We're not moving it to the cash value policy to make a lot of interest, right? Real story, maybe real talk. Depending on how your cash value policy is structured, it may only be making 3, 4, 5% a year. But how much are you making on your checking account? 0.01%. So it's still making like 100 to 1,000 times more than it is in a checking account. But the reason we're doing this is not for the rate of return. Is that now we are building a cash reserve very similar to what banks do. So if you go and research banks, if you research banks and tier one capital, you will find that a lot of banks, and I won't say a lot of them, the majority of them have a portion of their funds, their tier one capital, the money that they cannot afford to lose, is sitting in what you call bank owned life insurance. So it's sitting in cash value policies like we're talking about right now. Okay. So the reason we're doing this is because now we have these funds in here. They're still outpacing what the savings account is, what the checking and savings account is making, historically speaking, right? So we're still making more money there. But the reason is here is now using the wealth accelerator method. The concept that we understand is this: we need access to capital so that we can go out and invest in assets that give us cash flow. So here's the deal. What if you weren't using my wealth accelerator method and you just took your profit, saying your profit distribution, your hold account, and you moved it to your savings account over here, right? And you're earning that whopping, 1%, right? And you found an opportunity to invest. What would you do? You would take the money out of that a checking account. So it's not that, so once you take that money out, it's no longer earning that 1%. And then you would hopefully invest in something that would make money, right? Because now you've used cash nest egg to invest. And now you're someplace with high anxiety, hoping that everything works out with your deal and hoping that this real estate deal or this business deal or this entrepreneurship venture works out, right? Because you've just now liquidated and used your assets. Well, we don't want to do that, because what we know to be true as a wealth hack is that wealthy people don't use their assets and liquidate them. They leverage their assets to go get capital to then, invest in other things. So when you use our wealth accelerator method, and this is what we teach to our clients inside our Accelerate Academy, is we then put the money into the cash value policy. And then when we find an opportunity to invest in something, we don't take the money out, we borrow. We actually implement the loan provision of the policy. So let's say that my policy is making, right? We've seen all the Dave Ramsey followers and all those folks, saying, hey, cash value policies don't make any money. The stock market performs better. Yeah, the stock market performs better, but it performs better because it's more risk involved. There's no risk involved with your cash value policy because your principal is protected. So now you have an asset where you've mitigated the risk. And let's say, just for illustration purposes, still earning that 3 to 5%. Okay, great. Instead of using your cash, you now get a loan from the insurance company, right? And you take that loan from the insurance company and then you go buy the investment property or invest in that business venture or, jump into that entrepreneur opportunity. If you guys are following the chicken scratch here, and if you're listening to it, hopefully I'm slowing down enough where you can follow me here, is when you implement that strategy, you now have two assets that are working for you instead of one. Would you rather have an asset still earning 3 to 5% that you can borrow from to then go invest in an asset that may earn, 10, 20%? This is why I always laugh when I hear people argue about this whole buy term and invest the rest, right? You know what I'm saying? Or you shouldn't use cash value. You can still use the cash value and still invest in the market. You could have borrowed this money out and invested in dividend paying stocks. And what's amazing about it, if you just happen to pick the wrong stock and that stock went to zero, guess what? You still have the original asset, right? So this is a wealth hack. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to get their hair wrapped around because based on our money story, right? Oh, debt is bad. Well, consumer debt is bad. Going and spending, you're putting a Big Mac on your credit card for $10 and end up paying $100 on it over the course of years because you didn't pay it off. Yes, that's irresponsible and not prudent with your money. But understanding how to leverage this asset to then go out and acquire more assets now lets you accelerate, and which is why we call our academy the Accelerate Academy. You now accelerate your opportunity to go out and acquire other assets. So now instead of having one asset working, you now have two assets working. And if the investment that you picked ends up going downhill or doesn't work out, guess what? You still have your cash value inside of the life insurance policy. Now, I know what somebody's going to say, well, Perry, but you still got a loan. You don't understand the way cash value loan policies work. If it's structured the right way and you're working with a savvy financial professional, kind of like myself, and someone who understands, like, hey, we want to make sure that we structure this so that the loan is non-participating, means is simply, hey, your money is still earning interest. You have the loan out, and yeah, your loan might be at 5% interest, but if you don't pay that back, the worst case scenario situation that happens is that loan amount just reduces the death benefit of your plan. Now, I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm not saying you to be sloppy and be an imprudent investor, and I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am telling you is that if you didn't pay that loan back, it will reduce your death benefit, but you do want to pay that loan back so you can use that money again, right? But again, you mitigate it and reduce your risk of investing, and you still have your capital working for you. So effectively, what you've been able to do is reduce your risk of going out and investing. How much more would you invest if you could do it with a smaller amount of risk, knowing that if this investment goes downhill, this investment goes to zero, that you still have your original asset with you, right? So let me start to put a bow on this. Let me start to put a bow on this and really start to kind of bring this home here for you. Let me stop sharing here. You use the profit first process, right? The bank balance accounting method to create permanent profitability in your business. And you're like, well, Perry, what do you mean permanent profitability? I didn't get my P&L or my tax yet. I don't know if I'm profitable. Again, I'm talking bank balance accounting, not tax accounting. Your tax accounting and your bookkeeping is another conversation. Okay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you as the business owner realizing profit in the form of saved cash. Now you have a mechanism using profit first to have cash saving on a systematic basis. Now, using the wealth accelerator method coupled with the profit first, which and the wealth accelerator method is what we teach inside our Accelerate Academy, you now have that money there and you're like, well, what should I do with those dollars, right? Do I leave it in a checking account earning 0.01%? And then when an opportunity comes up, I liquidate that and move all our money and pray, the investment works out? Or do I put it into a vehicle where the principal be protected, it's earning an interest rate? Granted, it's not competing with the market, but it also doesn't have the risk of stock market, and then be able to borrow against that via a loan policy, right? And then use that to go out and then invest in the assets that can create wealth. This is the exact play that I run with my money. And what's really amazing about it is when we work with our clients one-on-one, so right now we got clients whose profit distributions are 14,000. And when I say that's the part they're getting, like money in their profit account. Been working with a couple this week, 28,000 in an account, 30 in an account, 50 in an account. It's just an amazing thing. And they're like, man, they took, and that client that had the 28,000, 14,000 went right to their pocket. The other 14,000 we have right now going to a brokerage account. But I told him this is the play that we're going to start running. So I'm going to have him set up very similar to myself, where when I do my profit hold account, I can put that money in any asset I want to put it in. So I put a little into my cash value policy. I put some into my brokerage account. But with both of them, I only put the money into accounts that I can use as collateral and leverage so that I can go out and do another deal. So that's why we are in a position, right, to go out and make offers on $1.2 million deals, because we have access to capital. The one thing that stops people from reaching financial independence, you could say financial literacy, you could say, had a hard time coming up, you could say, a whole bunch of reasons you could say, hey, this is why I'll never be financially independent. But really what it comes down to for high performers and people who already figured out how to make money, what's stopping them from getting financial independence is access to capital. When you have access to capital, especially capital where the risk is mitigated, knowing that, hey, even if this doesn't go well, I never lose my principal, right? Because I had that sitting over an account that's over here still earning interest. You have opened up your mind to now go out here and invest in things that's going to give you passive income, like that real estate deal, like that business venture, like that JV partnership that you want to invest in, or you want to invest in that grocery store, but you're like, I don't know if I want to do it. I only got like $10,000 in my savings account. Well, if you was running this play, you could have still invested and still, had your money regardless of how the deal worked out, right? So that's why this is so powerful, y'all. And I'm seeing some of the comments in here. Love profit first, right? This is insanely powerful. Appreciate that, Jesse. Love profit first. Kadada, you know what it is. We've been rocking for some years now, right? So this is where the evolution of creating wealth is. Imagine if you're running this play and you're running this play consistently. You're putting money into your profit account twice a month, and every quarter you're then moving it into, a holding account where you're earning interest, but you can leverage that account to then go get, leverage that account to get loan money or other people's money, OPM, or access to capital to then go out and do deals. How more quickly could you get closer? And financial independence is simply this, y'all. When your passive income is more than your living expenses, right? So here's the deal, and I'll leave you guys with this. I ask this question all the time. Do you think it's easier to, one, create $5,000 a month in passive income, or two, save $1.7 million? A lot of us have been conditioned to believe like, man, if I ever want to get to financial independence, I got to save $1.7 million, right? So after you save that $1.7 million, how do you live off of it? So you have this mountain of money, and then you're just going to start just taking money off that mountain of money and reducing it down and praying and hoping that things don't go bad and you don't run out of money. Or would you creating passive income, right? Because now it's not about, hey, did I save enough? It's just, did I use the assets or the income that I have to create, and use a system that could give me leverage to go out here and do the other things that I want to do. Using that wealth accelerator method is while I will be work optional by the age of 50, right? And that's not retirement age for a lot of folks. And, a lot of folks are planning on working till 62, 65. Not I. and not my clients, we're going to get this done really fast. So anyway, I could go on and on about this, y'all. I just had to share this with you because it's the end of the quarter and all of my clients have been doing their quarterly profit distributions. Now we're rolling this next level out of, okay, where do we put those profits where we can maintain the principal, right? But still have access to capital to go out and do a deal, right? And create passive income and financial freedom for, ourselves and our families. And we talk about, we hear all the time generational wealth. You know what generational wealth is? It ain't, hey, I got a life insurance policy and my wife and daughter is going to get, a couple $1,000,000 if I die. It's not, oh, I got this trust account and I got my house in the trust and I created generational wealth. Generational wealth is the transfer of knowledge. Wealth is transportable. What if your parents or grandparents had put you onto a strategy like this? This is very similar to what the Rockefellers did. We always hear that story about how the Rockefellers put money into their trust and whatnot. But what was the foundation of that trust? Go research it. It was cash value life insurance, right? Go research it. Go research for your own. Go Google, how do banks invest their money? Google tier one capital. Google bank owned life insurance. They put life insurance, cash value life insurance on their executives, but they have the business, the dang on beneficiary. And then they have that in there, and then they can borrow to pay executive bonuses, make have funding for infrastructure to grow the business. You'll be amazed at how much wealth is in life insurance policies, right? But you got to have a way to fund it. So now you have a way to fund it via the profit first. And if you're coming through our accelerated academy or you're working with another like-minded, financial strategist like myself who can set this up for you, you now put yourself in a position to truly create some financial freedom for yourself. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on here. I'm going to jump into our room with our clients and see if they have any questions. But again, share this, invite people into the Facebook community. We're going to be giving y'all fire like this every week. If you're listening to this via the podcast, come rock with us, right? Join the community, learn more about the Accelerated Academy, which is our 8-week academy, where we literally take a person from beginning in and show them exactly how we're running our finances, the exact way that I was able to retire my wife at 40, the same way I'll be work optional at 50, and how we're helping, other clients retire in record time, right? Retiring 365 days, retiring 24 months, right? You don't have to work and work your butt off until the wheels fall off and hopefully hope that you have enough health to be able to enjoy retirement at age 60, 65. We want you to enjoy that now. And we just believe this. If we can increase your passive income, if we can increase your cash flow and your income, we can then increase your independence, which is your time freedom. And if we can increase your time freedom, we can increase your impact so you can go out into the world, things that, do the things that, has been put on heart to do. All right, y'all. Thanks for rocking with me on this episode, and we'll see you guys on the next one.